Ladies and gentlemen, a week is a long time in football because a week ago everybody was writing the obituary of Liverpool Football Club. Today in GRC Football TV, we shall talk about the Liverpool Man City game, the revival of Mo Salah. We shall also talk about Tottenham. And actually, the question with Tottenham is, have they run out of excuses not to be a top team? And we look at the right back options for England since everybody's getting injured. But it was good to see Trent come in as a sub. In the studio today with me is Mr. Hinder and Big Dunk. Let's jump straight into it, people. Let's do this. The Liverpool Man City game had loads of talking points, the referee being one of them, VAR being another one. But is it actually a case that we're actually talking some positivity about VAR? Haaland didn't score. Oh my God, the goal drought has started. But let us start with Mo Salah. Scoring a hat trick against Rangers, that must have revived him. And then, of course, scoring today. So, Mr. Hinder, he did say in the interview that he doesn't mind when he missed chances. It's just that as long as chances keep coming, is Mo Salah going to come back and join the Golden Boot race?
He was never gone. Haaland just had like the world's biggest head start, and now he's not scored in a game. So yeah, Salah's never gone anywhere else. I think the fact that he played in a slightly different position is probably beneficial for him today. Which is
Different position. Did he play in a different position?
Yes, he played just behind the front man for quite a bit of the game. Klopp did a lot of changes in that game. He didn't just play his usual formation.
Do you think he watched the podcast last week, Neil?
But he is literally him, Saka. They've been on the phone to me. They've been asking me what to do to improve, how they can do it, and I'm like, just change it up, lads. You know what you've got to do. So yeah, Salah played well today, but one game doesn't make a season, right?
It's a start. It's a good start. As you did say, Liverpool didn't. So even at the start of the game, the commentators were actually quite confused as to what Liverpool were doing. He was trying to not be predictable. One of the things that I like to see, and I like to challenge Mr. Hinder every now and then because he's an ageist and likes to talk about how old people are. Big Dunk, Milner, playing right side against and Trent. I think Trent not being fit enough to start the game. But last year when Milner played against Foden, my good God, Mr. Hinder thought Milner was over. He was done for. But he played today and he played really well. And he held that back line really well with the other Liverpool defenders. How would you rate Milner's game today?
Yeah, I mean, fair play. You got to give Milner a bit of credit, haven't you? I mean, we've been talking about like midfield, and they've been a bit aging. And Milner's been used there this season, so to come in at right back to replace Trent against Man City and to do a job, like you got to give the man props for that. So he's still around. Klopp still knows something. Even though Neil was telling us he was tactically inept last week, which he had a slight point, but Klopp still knows something, and Milner's still got something in the bag at 36 years old. So yeah, it's good to see.
Klopp had a week to prepare that game. That is all he has been preparing for. It's like, how can I change this up? How can those GRC football TV teams?
Rangers.
That was their friendly to get ready for the big game, right? That was their, let's go and do something. And the Arsenal thing before. Milner played right back is a good position for him to play because he won't play like Trent plays as a right back. A, he'll defend, but B, he's not going to be bombing up and down that pitch. So he was there as, can you play right back like right backs used to be? Toe in, make sure the ball goes out of play, keep it steady, and defend, right? Not bomb up the pitch and then try and track back. It was a good decision to make, whether Trent wasn't fit or Trent's been dropped or whatever excuses there was given. It made perfect sense to get a proper right back in order to cope with defending, which we've been asking for.
He's not really a proper right back, though, is he?
Well, compared to Trent.
Wasn't he used? He was used more as a left back, wasn't he? In the last couple of seasons,
he has been used everywhere apart from goalkeeping. Man,
he probably could do a job there.
The man is a utility player. It was good that, yes, I know people say a week is that just one game doesn't make anything. But Van Dijk also looked like he was steady today, played really well. He was his calm, self. Robertson was running around. It was interesting in terms of Man City, the defense line, when they had Ake on the left, Diaz, Akanji, and Cancelo on the right. It looked like initially it was going to be an issue, but it wasn't. But if we fast forward a bit and we actually go to Man City's goal that was disallowed. So the ref, I thought, had a strange game today in the sense that he was trying to let the game flow. So there were tackles flying in, which was good for for the neutral. Tackles flying in, he let a lot of things go, but he wasn't particularly consistent. Now, if we go straight to the goal, and just before the goal happens, Haaland and Fabinho. So I just ask it straight. Big Donk, was that a foul? Because it is one of the things that Michael Richards was saying on Sky was ideally he doesn't think the ref would give that as a foul normally. So when he goes to check, and it wasn't clear and obvious. So why was that? Why was that? Used to take the goal away?
I totally agree. The ref wouldn't give that a foul under normal circumstances. So when it comes under VAR, the only thing that he's got to go on there is like Haaland's got a bit of his shirt, but that is really soft. Like it doesn't look like he's like.
Is it clear? Is it clear and obvious, or is it soft?
It's
Which
soft.
one? Or it's not clear and obvious. But if it's soft, if foul can still be soft,
it's
right?
not clear and obvious, but when you play it in slow motion, you can see that Haaland's got a bit of his shirt in the replay, and that's it. So the ref's just gone, oh look, you had a bit of his shirt, foul. Like absolutely not under normal circumstances would that be a foul.
So was the issue that the ref wasn't consistent, or it was too soft a foul? Because if it was a foul, it was a foul.
Like I said, it's just that it came under the spotlight in VAR, and this is what happens with VAR. Like they play it, 5 times in slow motion, and lots of things look worse in slow motion. But again, I think the only thing he's got to go on there is that Haaland's got a piece of his shirt, and he's just seen that and gone, oh look, Haaland's pulling his shirt. Like he could have been putting barely any force on. It doesn't look like Haaland's like really assaulting him.
So I like that you said that in terms of how many times they look at that slow motion. Mr. Hinder, does VAR actually give the foul based on, will I give a foul at normal speed? Or isn't that the whole point of them to actually look at different angles, play it down, slow it down, and then make sure there's a foul? So when people are
Firstly,
saying slow motion,
VAR didn't give a foul. VAR advised the ref to go and have a look and just to double check that he was happy with his original decision. So VAR don't make the decision to overturn.
No, you say that, but it's like, oh, you might want to check that. That's like my wife. My wife does that to me. She goes, "You might want to clean the dishes before you go to work," and I'm like, "Look, why don't you just say you need to clean the dishes, not this kind of stuff?"
I 100% agree. As soon as it was getting looked at, it was another incident today as well that the ref was told to go and have a look, but. They go and have a look, and then they've got that chance to say yes or no. They're getting advised, right? There's not often that they then don't go ahead. So, was it a foul? Yes, it was a foul. It wasn't given initially, but
okay.
What should it have been given in the context of that game that was happening? Then the answer is no. But so we've got we've got isolated incidents of
in the context of that game. What does that mean?
Because the ref was, I was going to finish. You interrupted.
Sorry.
So the ref, so you got to let the flow go. So the ref was letting everything go, right?
Yeah.
And he was making sure that the game was flowing. He wasn't stopping and starting for loads of fouls left and right. He was letting a few things go that were a little bit serious. So as he was letting them all go, he knew that one potentially could lead to a goal, right? You can't just let them all go and not. So by letting them go, he's already made that decision to let stuff go, which means that he either has to blow up constantly or not. So in the context of that particular game, it wasn't a foul. Any other game that had been maybe more stringently refereed to the point of stopping for every single petty thing throughout the game, it would have been initially been given as a foul anyway, so we wouldn't have had the VAR decision to worry about. But in that particular game, and the way that the ref was reffing the game, it shouldn't have been given as a foul. Was it a foul? For me, yeah, he's pulled him back a bit, regardless if it's a bit soft or not.
Just to clarify,
he's gone down.
Just to clarify, so yes, I agree with you that the ref was trying to let the game go, but there's some things were obvious fouls that he should have stopped the game for. I can understand when you let things go based on advantage. However,
no, I disagree. I think that they were trying to get the Premier League back to that particular style of game that we had today.
With such a big game, you're trying to get it back to
because
the
they've
way
had
it
a
used
lot
to
of
be.
games this season about it. I think Graham Souness touched on it and again disappeared off the face of the earth, because he said it was a man's game and it was back for the men.
But that's true. Where is that guy actually?
Because of that's what happened. He said it was a man's game and it's played by men. But what he meant was the physicality was back in the particular game, and that people weren't falling over all the time, and we were allowed to tackle again. And it's a contact sport, which if you find the Premier League has allowed back in, we need to do a podcast about how that's going to affect the potential World Cup and the referee in the World Cup, because that's going to be different to how they're currently officiating in the Prem. But the Prem's directive this season season, the Premier directive this season was to let games flow. Now, if you're going to let games flow, you then can't come back to an innocuous foul, whether it's a foul or not. Like if that was in the area, and it depends if it's the second or not. So, in essence, it's a foul, but because of the new way and where they're trying to officiate, it isn't a foul. But as they've given it back, that was what I would feel harsh from Pep's point of view, if that makes sense. If I was Klopp, I'd be rubbing my hands and going, yeah, but you should have given about 15 other the buggers as well.
With everything you've said, and some things, yes, make sense. Some things, maybe. My concern is, where is Graham Souness, man? I've missed that guy. I haven't seen him in a long time. So one of the things that I was when I was watching that game, and we have, especially Mr. Hinder. Mr. Hinder has always pointed out how Haaland does a lot for the game. He takes defenders away, and he doesn't have to touch the ball too many times. He just has to be in a position to score. In a tough game like this, and yes, Man City will probably not play as many tough games as they did today, but should he have done more, Big Dunk? Do you think this would have been a game that he could have probably even taken inspiration from Harry Kane, dropped deep a bit to get the ball more, especially when they were struggling? Should he have? Because it was a game that, yes, he probably had chances like the Van Dijk clearance. If Van Dijk missed that ball, it would have been a goal. But should Haaland have done more? It's wonderful when you do all those things and your team is winning, but when they actually need you to be in the game, to be involved in the game more, should he have done more? Big Dunk.
No, he's got his job. His job is to be the front man and to score the goals, and to be there when De Bruyne and Foden and Silva, whoever it is, plays the pass.
But sometimes they might need help. They might need you to do a bit more. They do a bit more when they need to do. So why shouldn't he do a bit more?
No, like they have their roles. Like today just didn't go as well as they planned, obviously, because they lost the game. Like it works. It works like nearly every game they play. And we've seen what Haaland's done already this season. Like I don't think Pep's going into that game like gonna be changing individual roles, particularly with Haaland when he scored so many goals this season. Like we just gotta put it behind them. It's a game. He didn't get a goal. But he's going to keep doing what he's been doing for the season so far, and he's going to score a lot more goals. So today just didn't happen for him, but I think his role is to spearhead the attack, and he needs to be there when they're going to play the passes to him, and it's worked amazingly well so far this season.
Alisson seems to come up with an assist or two every now and then with the season, and then was a good pass to Mo Salah, but Cancelo though, very wrong gamble. There was really no reason to do that. Pace, you could probably match Salah. Should he have stood his ground a bit more, Mr. Hinder? Should he have at least let Salah control the ball so it could be one-on-one instead of going in for that tackle the way it was?
It was poor. It was poor decision making on all accounts. Firstly, not just from Cancelo, he's one-on-one at that particular point, and there was no one around him to be helping. I don't know how. I know Man City play a high line, but that's a ridiculous high line when it's just on the halfway line and you're literally doomed from that particular point. And Alisson's got that in his locker. The irony is, Ederson does exactly the same thing. Yeah, Man City aren't able to cope at that particular point. I think Cancelo did worse than Salah did well to score that goal. It looked initially like a really good bit of skill, but I think Cancelo just kind of like completely misjudges everything at that particular point, which you'll find from Man City defenders seem to have that in their locker, a complete lack of judgment on something every now and again. But let's not take away from Salah's amazing composure to score that goal, which was awesome, especially with the crowd as excited as they were, the game playing the way it was, and everything else that was going on. Alisson's pass was phenomenal. One thing I'd like to throw out, taken away from the attacking, on the defending side for Liverpool, right? Joe Gomez can defend and was given man of the match today. Which does that mean? Well, this is my question. This is my question. Does that mean that because James Milner was next to him and he could see his fellow right back for the first time ever, rather than seeing in front of him, it made him able to defend and not be left exposed constantly, which helped them out? Duncan, not you. Let me find out what Dunk thinks first, and then we'll go to the United fan.
You could put forward an argument for that. You'd probably need a bit more evidence. You want to see another game or two where he's in that situation. So obviously, like it happened today, that there's probably going to be like lots of coverage about the fact that Trent wasn't playing and Liverpool won. and Milner played and he did a better job of defending. But yeah, like you'd want to see a couple more games of someone like Gomez in that situation where he's got someone different other than Trent next to him to see how that pans out. Obviously, he did a great job today.
Go on then, JJ. Come on.
Sorry, I'm the host, man. Are you giving me? Actually giving me a window of having an opinion?
Yeah, well, you've had about 3 already today. Come on.
No. All I do is ask.
JJ's like the BBC. He only has opinions on Man United.
I don't think Joe Gomez, in terms of defending, has ever been questioned. I think he was going from strength to strength until he got that injury 2 seasons ago, and then he has been in and out of the team because Matip obviously stepped up and other defenders. And when he was defending really well, Trent was in the team, and Liverpool, they were winning. The thing now is the thing with Joe Gomez has come back. When he came back, he has had some terrible games, and that's because one, you play a good game here. I think it was the Champions League that against Napoli, he was destroyed totally, and the entire team were playing badly. Now, I do see your point when it comes to James Milner's defending because yes, there's cover, there's somebody that knows how to call the line and all that good stuff, and it was needed today. Particularly, I think if Trent had started today, it would have been terrible because Foden and all those guys were going through that center. I think the bigger question is today shows that a proper defender, not the one that you people are thinking have to always assist all the time, would actually be better for Liverpool. Opinion ended.
Shots fired.
Beep. Just saying. However, fair play to Trent. He did come in and he defended well, almost had a goal. The next thing I'm going to try out to you boys
just a quick one, like because I was going to say last week that I think Trent's done for the England squad for the World Cup, and now we've got the injuries. So what's the opinion? Do people think he's going to be on the plane?
We are coming to that. We're coming to that. Keep them waiting. We're going to come to that when we talk about that as our third topic. However, one thing I do want to try out on the Liverpool City game. Before the start of the season, big things were said about this player. He was going to come in. We actually mentioned the fact that maybe Liverpool and City are going towards the same direction of having a point man. Nunes comes in. Ideally, should have squared the ball numerous times. Also had a chance that he should have scuffed it. Dunk, what's your honest opinion about this guy? Do we still need more time, or does he need time to hit the Premier League the way Haaland has? Obviously, not scoring as many goals, but do you think that focal point will work now that he's getting back and he's fit for Liverpool?
I think he will be a good player, and let's just face it, like everyone's looking bad compared to Haaland. If like anyone else to come into the Premier League in this season where Haaland's doing what he is, they look bad. I mean, I'm sure if you look back historically at like good strikers or high profile strikers, high value transfers that have come into the Premier League, like they all don't hit the ground running, smacking in goals left, right, and centre. So yeah, I think Nunes needs a bit more time. Like he's a good player. He's banged goals in against Liverpool in the Champions League in the past couple of seasons. So I'm sure he'll come good at some stage. It looks like he just has to adapt to their game a little bit more and gelling in with the rest of the squad.
This would have been a game that could go anywhere. I think if the City goal had stood, I don't know if Liverpool would have come back in. But as Mr. Hinder likes to talk about the strategy and managers being not good enough, who won the battle today? Apart from the scoreline, in terms of when you look at the formation and how things were played, look at the players that started between Pep and Klopp. Who was the better manager today, Mr. Hinder?
Well, Klopp got the points, and everything else is secondary, regardless how teams play or how teams win. Klopp finally mixed
once
it
again,
up.
ladies and gentlemen, this is the guy that either he doesn't like to listen to me or he just wants to. I don't know what is wrong with this guy.
I'm not sure what else we can judge the game on. How much
other than the score, which because it would have been a game that would have gone anywhere. Who was the better strategist?
Klopp. For several reasons. Three of those are being points. The other reasons, the fact that he dropped Trent, he decided to put Salah more of a central area, which I think is probably a good thing. Not Salah's old, but Salah is an aging forward, right? Or just coming into his prime. I'm not sure I'd want him as wide. I'd want him more focal if it was me personally. That Nunez, well, I mean, he has got the decision making of Jay from the In-Betweeners. Literally. I couldn't believe it today. Where Liverpool could have been 3 or 4-0 up if they decided to pass the ball and and actually go through. Can he be a great player for Liverpool? Without that, he's got all the attributes and looks like he could play, but he's got some decision making along that lines. I think one of the issues that, and we've all had this in Football Manager and in FIFA. So I'm going to throw this out there. You buy a player for an absolute bucket load of money. Now that player is going to play week in and week out, but you've already replaced the guy that's been scoring goals because you think this one's going to be a bit better. But you spent so much money on him that you've got to play him regardless. And then poor old Jota, that they, I don't want to say a pinch at 45 million, but it was like an absolute steal for how well he did
World-class
last
Jota,
season.
you mean, yeah?
Yeah, how well he did last season, right? I know he's been a bit injured, but he's not getting the game time that that his last season dictated for. And then you've got Nunez in the team coming in, and it just doesn't. He's that guy that they spent a lot of money in, and it has to work. But I think he's the guy that's going to come in and is going to take time to work, or he ends up being a Pepe or David Bellion.
Ouch! And don't forget they got Firmino as well, who's actually been playing pretty well this season. Been providing quite a few goals.
The other night. He looks awesome. He looks like he could play. He looks like he's playing for fun though. Like he's just enjoying himself out there, and I think that's quite a nice role to have. But they can mix them up. Like last season, we were going the front men we all want are the Liverpool front guys. I know Mane's gone, and everyone's like, "Oh, they've lost Mane, so they can't defend." I mean, you might have tracked back a bit, but that's not the reason they can't defend. The age in midfield is the problem, and Trent highlighted the issue today that he is the problem. If you can keep a clean sheet against City, Haaland doesn't score. Doesn't really have much of a sniff either. Let's not say that he was.
I did ask if he could do more. Somebody said no.
Yeah, well, that wasn't me, was it? Could he have done more? Today, no. I don't think he could. I think Liverpool played that well against him that he couldn't do more today. Do I think De Bruyne should have done more today? Yeah, I think Foden should have done more today. I think they were quite poor. Cancelo was obviously poor to lead towards the goal. But I think Man City as a unit could have done a lot more. Don't forget, Haaland's just meant to get in the positions. There was one he didn't get in, but I think at that point of the game, he was so annoyed with the lack of supply and the way that they were playing was out of character for City. But I think that was down to Liverpool disrupting way more than I think Man City thought they were going to going into that game. And I think anyone, really. I think we all had him down to being absolutely bent over and spanked. And Klopp, we did. Klopp comes out of it, and fair play to Klopp. Listen to the show last week, without a doubt. He's gone in. They've absolutely caned Rangers. They've beat City. 8 goals and one against. After was it Arsenal, wasn't it?
Yes.
After the Arsenal game, they've taken stock and gone, what do we do different? How do we do different? And that's what's happening. And I think that's from Klopp's point of view, it's quality. Trent, sorry, mate.
Okay. Well, Milner, there's no way Milner can play that right back all season. I don't think he has the legs for it, but we'll see with time. The question I do have, no, I don't think, come on, man. We'll have Champions League.
He can play. He can play right back. He can't play Trent right back, but he can play right back like Gary Neville right back.
Yeah, Gary Neville's the best right back the Premier League has ever seen. And Gary, if you're watching this, some people want to grow up and be like you. At least Gary the businessman, but you are the best. You are the best right back.
He's too busy on his own podcast.
Oh yeah, that's true. Too busy. Big Dunk, does this put Liverpool back as title contenders? Even if I know they're still far off, but with this is that they have one more game more than everybody else, and if they win that game, they go 7 points behind City or 7 points behind Arsenal. They have the last game before the World Cup is the weekend, November 12th, November 13th. So Liverpool have West Ham, Forest, Leeds, Spurs, and Southampton. And City have 4 games: Brighton, Leicester, Fulham, Brentford. And Arsenal, the top of the table, they have Southampton, Nottingham Forest, Chelsea, and Wolves. So the way it's looking, do you think there could be a massive shift in the title contention?
Not from those fixtures you just read out. They've got quite a few easier games. Like the majority of those games for all those clubs sounded relatively easy for the standard of opposition. Like there's the odd tricky one like Chelsea, but I don't think it's going to change too much. Be nice to see if Arsenal can keep it going right up until the World Cup and stay ahead at the top. So Liverpool, I think they were always going to be there or thereabouts this season. Like despite the awful start they've been really solid the past like 3 or 4 seasons. It was never going to be the case that they were just going to fall to the back of the pack and end up mid-table somewhere. So you never know. Like that, every team goes through dips. Maybe this is Liverpool's one dip of the season. They've got it out of the way at the season. Maybe they're going to kick on from here. Again, my favourite term for this season, JJ, momentum.
Momentum, baby.
Can they keep it going? They've got their big win now up against Man City, which means, if you get that one out of the way, you should be able to beat anyone. So can they keep it going to the World Cup? They probably want to be like beating all their opposition games before the World Cup to seriously be in that title challenge.
All right. Well, Liverpool Man City, amazing game. Anything else we've left out, boys? Is there something we haven't spoken about? Everything all good? Apart from Bernardo Silva trying to wrestle Salah to the ground. And he's the one person that was saying after the match, the refs has to be consistent. Bernardo Silva, you need to go to the gym. You were trying to wrestle the guy, and the guy didn't even move. But it was a good game for the neutral. Nice game.
Man City's kit's terrible.
Oh yeah, that was
that is terrible, man. I don't know if they were putting cones out at half time.
I mean,
like traffic
even
wardens.
their sky blue jersey is crap too. I mean, everything about the team is crap. But hey, what can we say? All right, people. Thank you, Liverpool, Man City, for entertaining us. It was a good game, and we'll see what happens.
So now, Liverpool are 14 points behind Arsenal.
No, 14 points behind Arsenal, or
That's
10.
crazy.
They would have been.
Have I got the league
Check
wrong?
the table. You sure? Check the table. Is that 14 or 10? Or is it
14 I've got Man City at 4 points behind Arsenal, which is disgusting.
It is 14 because Liverpool have just moved for themselves level on points with Bournemouth today.
It's crazy.
And that's no mean feat. That is getting yourself to level on points with Bournemouth.
If they have a game in hand though, so they can reduce it to at least 11.
I'm gonna throw out a question, not relevant to anything else, but looking at the table. Do you know who's conceded the least amount of goals in the league?
That's a good question. Who?
I believe it's Newcastle.
Ooh.
Eddie Howe's man.
Eddie Howe.
That doesn't surprise me one bit.
Haven't scored a goal all season, but they've conceded the least.
Oh, good.
Can't wait to get onto that game later.
Before we go into the stats, and of course before we get Mr. Hinder excited, as he happened to be the one that looked at the Man United Newcastle game, we are talking about Tottenham. Tottenham beating Everton 2-0. Harry Kane scoring a penalty again, and Tottenham grinding out the results. A game that I don't know. I wouldn't say they comfortably won, but they did enough to win. So the question here is: Tottenham once again still look like they're grinding out results. They don't look like they're steamrolling teams. But we have in the past we've always mentioned how Levy was too tight. He was too this. He doesn't spend money. Tottenham should have run out of excuses as to why they're not winning stuff because they have a world-class manager, which everybody said they should have in Conte. They have arguably one of the best stadiums and training ground in the world that has just been built. The players are all looking good and gelling. As we mentioned, good manager. Harry Kane. Something else we'll talk about. Alan Shearer said if he was in City, he would be scoring as much goals as Haaland. But Big Don, I'll start with you. Have Tottenham run out of excuses? They should be doing better and they should be actually going for the title, as Mr. Hinder said they will at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, so with the original question, have they not got any excuses? No, I don't think they have got any excuses anymore. Like you said, they've got everything in place. They've got Conte, who's a proven manager. They've still managed to keep Son and Kane. They've made some additions to the squad over the summer. So yeah, they haven't got any excuses. But then look at the league table. They're third. They're four points behind Arsenal. So they're right up there in the mix. So again,
but they're having the vavavoom. They don't look like the Arsenal that's looking like they're going to win the league. They don't look like City that's playing good. They don't even look like Newcastle. One of your favorite teams that it's not conceding goals and showing improvement. They just look like they're grinding out results.
Yeah, I don't think anyone cares. Like on the, maybe hardcore fans might, but like I don't think anyone cares. If you look at the table and your team's in third place, and we were saying that our Arsenal title challengers last week. Well, Spurs are up there in third place. They're in the top 3 level on points with Man City, so they have to be considered at this point title challengers as well. Neil knows they're going to win the league, so. Yeah, they've got no excuses. And again, if if we're having these conversations and we're saying like they're grinding out results, but yet they're still in third place in the table, you take that all day long as a supporter of your club.
But the thing now here, Dunk, about us nail this. So you're talking about teams always have a dip during the season, yeah. But when you're playing the entire season and you've just been grinding out results, that means there's a possibility that your dip could be, sorry, not your dip. Your form can actually go from grinding out results to terrible, or maybe you start playing well and getting better results. So Tottenham are on that fine balance. You don't know where they're going to go. They might get better, they might drop, which is what is a problem for a team that wants to win the league, right? So that's what I'm asking. Have they run out of excuses, Mr. Hinder? Because they could, yes, start playing well and, doing all the good things, or they could start dropping.
Just sounds like a jealous United fan.
Why would I be jealous about the.
Somebody else is challenging. Oh, it should be
No,
us.
no, no.
Just
First of all,
that glass
you
half full or
you
half
wouldn't
empty.
know.
That's all I want to know.
First of all, you wouldn't know anything about challenging.
Third in the league at the moment.
I was going to say, you saying Sheffield Wednesday have never challenged for the top of the league they're in.
They've only challenged for Sheffield.
Not for a while on that one. So there's Spurs. They got to a certain point under Pochettino where they were playing really well. The football was nice. The fans were all bought in, and it was doing really, really well. It was a really happy, nice place. And then it went a bit wrong after the Champions League defeat. So I'm not a Spurs fan at all, but this is from the outside perspective of what I can see. Went wrong. Then they got Nuno. Nuno came in, didn't he?
Yes, he did. And Mourinho came in first, then Nuno.
So Mourinho was first, and then Nuno, right? No, Nuno, yes. Then Mourinho.
No, wasn't it Mourinho then Nuno?
No, I'm pretty sure it was Nuno then Mourinho.
I'm thinking it was Nuno then Mourinho.
Nuno didn't last long. Mourinho
Nuno was
lasted
there for
longer.
like 2 lunchtimes, wasn't he? Basically, the football was dire, and so then they got into basically, and then Mourinho came there. Probably upset a few players because he's a little bit old school with the way that his tactics are. Doesn't play the most attractive football wherever he's been. That's just standard Mourinho. Has a bit of a problem with maybe the press or outwardly people thinking he's a dinosaur because he doesn't play this vast, expansive football like Klopp and Pep, which everybody wants, and Pochettino was there playing that football. But there were some really bad signings that needed to get out, and I don't think he was given necessarily the time to get rid of some of these abysmal signings that he had inherited. Now, rightly or wrongly, he went, and now they got Conte in. Conte's pretty similar to the way Mourinho plays football. Very much on the back foot. They're looking to score the goals. If they've got the players, they'll play with the players on the front foot, but they're not going to put on the front foot, and they're not going to play a game and win 4 or 5-0 because that's not the way. Mourinho will happily win 1-0 than 4-0. If he can win 4-0, fine. But that's not his ethos. His ethos is to win the game, and that doesn't matter if it's 1 or 2. You shut shop once you've got the goal, and that's the important thing. I think Conte has continued that, but people like Conte a little bit more because he's got probably less friction with fans and the press. So he gets given a little bit of leeway. But I also think Conte is a whole year really away from getting that team cemented in, because it's not really still his entire team, right? He's had a transfer window and a Christmas. So it's not like I would go, that's his team. So I think he's got another season, and he still needs to get some midfielders in. So I don't think there's an excuse for Spurs to say that they should be challenging or not. They're at the point where they're at, like we said last season, overachieving to get to where they were. And I think this season they're doing really, really well. So you think
what they did last season was an overachievement?
Yeah, 100%. I think at the moment they're still overachieving. I did tip them to win the league because Conte's a winner. But I think anything that they're currently doing with that squad until he gets his full team, that he gets the players, and that midfield's still a bit weak, but maybe every team in the Premier League's got a really slow, weak midfield. I don't know. That's the way it seems, apart from De Bruyne. But that's kind of where it is. I don't understand this whole thing of people going, oh, Man City are running away and Haaland's doing really, really well, and everyone's getting excited, and Arsenal are playing really well and everyone's getting excited. Yeah, but I mean, they're only 4 points above Spurs, right? And Spurs are the same points as Man City. And if my team isn't potentially performing to the stars and they're going a little bit quiet under the radar, I'm taking that all day long. because that's the love that you need. You grind out results and you score and you win games and you slowly creep up and you're playing well, or even if you're playing bad and winning, that's when you know you're onto a good thing, right?
I
Because no one
agree
wants to
that
play well and lose.
I agree.
That's rubbish.
You have a very good point that okay, you don't understand why people are getting excited. The points difference is not that much, but just taking you back, you think Tottenham overachieved last season? Is
Yeah, I
it
still think
because
they did.
it happened like the last 3 games of the season, or you just think them finishing fourth was an overachievement?
I think it
This
was
is
an
a club that has
overachievement because
everything given to them.
why have you been given to them? They've
We just said it: world class manager, world class stadium, world
given
class
to
training
them. I mean, I
facilities,
think
world class
given to them is a
players.
little bit harsh. I think Ant might be a way bit
Okay,
better. I think Daniel Levy's done
I'm sorry.
exceptionally well to get to where the
I'm
club is
sorry,
at.
ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, because I mean, this is the same guy we were attacking that wasn't spending or doing much. Now, let's say earned. They have earned it, right? So, okay. So,
Yeah.
and you still think that's finishing fourth is an overachievement?
What last season? Yeah, 100%. They didn't have the divine right to get to that position.
Nobody does, though.
Exactly. So what I don't understand why we suddenly think that they should be challenging. They're in the challenge race. I already tipped them to be in there, but I don't think they still got excuses.
No,
I
no,
still
no.
think
You didn't tip
they're a
them to
season
challenge. You
away.
tipped them to win.
Yeah, I still think they're a season away from him having his full team that he would want, and I think that center of the park is probably the area that he will look at next to try and get the players in. He's on Perisic. He's like 450 years old.
Once
So
again, ladies and gentlemen, I did say this man is ageist. Perisic is
Perisic
33
has been
years old.
around forever,
He's
right?
33 years old, and the man says 40 years old. Dunk, to you, though. Alan Shearer made a point of saying that if Kane was in City, he will be scoring as many goals as Haaland. Yes or no?
No. No. Would he be scoring more goals? Yes. Would he be scoring as many as Haaland? No. So
I mean,
again,
Haaland has scored what,
Didn't-
15 in what, 15 in 10?
Haaland, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Haaland's got 15 in 10. Kane has scored what, 9 in 10, or is it 10 in 10?
Well, again, like
And Kane scored on this weekend, and Haaland's for a drought.
he's he's got the point where if you put Harry Kane into that Man City side, he's going to score more goals than he scores for Spurs. Absolutely. But is he going to score as many as Haaland? No. And Harry Kane, I think Harry Kane would adjust his game. There's no way Harry Kane's playing like he does for Spurs in England in a Man City team managed by Pep. So he will get more, but not as many as Haaland.
He's got 9 in 10.
9 in 10. If Kane finishes above Haaland this season, is that statement going to change, Dunk?
Because do you statement?
The statement
All of your
you,
life statements.
all of your life statements. So now, I mean, Haaland has started really well. There's a possibility he could go on a drought and start slowing down, and other people will start catching up. So, I mean, we're excited by the 15 in 9 and 15 in 10, whatever. We're excited now because it's just boom, boom, boom. It's something that's never been seen before. But it could still level out. And then we'll be comparing them based on the season. And if Kane, by some magic, finishes above Haaland,
By some magic, lots of penalties. Finishes with Haaland.
You've still got to score them, haven't you, Bamford?
Who? Yeah. So, so what we were saying, yeah, like Haaland getting his 15 and 10, like I don't think that's sustainable by anyone over the course of the season. I don't think anyone's sustained that kind of form. So we can all see that and go, that's amazing. But I think we recognise that's not going to carry on through the rest of the season. So probably what you're looking from Haaland is somewhere around a goal a game to maintain that kind of ratio. And it's just funny that you talk about him like having a drought after one game. Like it's a bit of a joke, isn't it?
Look, man, when you're scoring every game, scoring hat tricks back to back, if you don't score one game, it is a drought. Man, you have raised that you have raised that bar too high for yourself, son. I'm sorry.
But on your question,
in fact, if he goes a half without scoring, it's a drought. The way he has done
but
stuff.
on your question, like if Harry Kane's outscores Haaland while playing for Spurs, then all hail Harry Kane. Like that'd be some achievement.
King Harry, right? And the World Cup.
Yeah, but apart from last season, though, every other season he has been there with still playing for Spurs that has not been fighting for titles and been overachieving. So clearly, apart from last season where he still had 17 goals, playing in a deeper role, I guess it's still all hail Kane, even if it's penalties though. So it would be the same thing. It would be normal if he outscores Haaland.
There's no
It
love
looked
for
like a
Harry
bigger
Kane on
achievement, but
GRC Football TV apart from me, and I'm feeling a little bit
no,
of.
no, no. I don't dislike. I'm just asking questions.
Don't hide behind a veil.
I
I'm
don't
just
think
asking questions.
we don't really diss him. We just like we've got some observations about
more.
I've
the style
noticed
of play, mostly for England. Like
he messaged me the other day and he said, "Look, lads, you're a bit harsh on me." He's got 9 goals in
If he
10 this season
if
and
he
only 2 are
messaged you,
penalties.
if
Yeah,
he messaged you, I'm surprised Maguire doesn't have a voodoo doll of you stabbing it every week with the amount of things he said
me and Maguire
about
didn't
that
get on.
guy.
We don't get on.
Mhm.
Maguire
But
doesn't like
you
me.
get on with Kane, do you?
Me and Kane, house on fire. Tipped them for the league, remember?
To be
And
fair,
Son
though,
to be top goal scorer. So he's trying to prove me wrong this
to be
season.
fair, Dunk is the biggest attacker of Kane
He is.
on the podcast. Yes,
And I
Dunk is
don't
the
understand.
I don't
Understand
really attack him. I
mean,
don't diss him down. I make some observations about how he plays. Like
He-
the biggest thing I said was like if he went to somewhere like Bayern Munich or City, I think he would improve his game as an attacker, and that would benefit England.
What else does he need to improve, though? No,
But why
I mean,
does he need to do? Oh, sorry. Let me just ask a question, because I just need to get this all out. I'm just getting really upset, and I don't understand why he needs to. He's got 9 in 10 in the Premier League. He scored 5 and 5 in the last 5. Right. As a striker, we've just said if Haaland continues form of getting 1 a game, that's a good season. That's a great season, right? At the moment, Harry Kane is on that in a Tottenham team that are second in the league. Not for Man City on £865,000 a week. I am assuming he's on a measly 200,000 a week, and he's a quarter of the player that Haaland is on money wise. But why no love? Why no love for Harry Kane?
I don't think I've been particularly harsh on him, but like, well, one, I don't support Tottenham, so I don't care how Harry Kane plays for Tottenham. Like he can crash and burn for Tottenham. I care about how he plays for England. The main criticism that I bring is that like he plays like he does for Spurs for England, and that inhibits the rest of the team. Like we've got amazing players at England, like your Fodens, Sterling, Sakas, all of those, and they can't play the way they play for their club because Kane plays the way he does for Spurs. That's my only criticism. Like, I'm not bringing the guy down.
blaming other players for not playing how they play for their club because of how Kane plays for England?
This is my issue, right? He blames everybody else for they're not being able to adapt, because you're playing with a talisman that the pinnacle of English football at the moment, just about to overtake Jimmy Greaves and an all-time top goal scorer for Spurs. So, like, and he has done wonders for even if England, his goal scoring record is fantastic. I haven't got the stats here, but I can pull them up if we really need to. But he has done wonders for England. So when Foden, Saka, Sterling, everyone else comes into that team, they should be adapting to him.
Just think over the last couple of tournaments, the last couple of years, how many?
Sorry.
No. How many tap-ins?
We're off on one now.
How many tap-ins has Sterling scored because Kane's not there?
Let me just ask you this.
Quite rightly
Though.
so.
So just to clarify, you are blaming Kane for the reason why other players are not playing well, not Southgate. I'm confused here. Just clarify that.
Just the whole system of England. The whole system doesn't
makes
work
the
to its
system?
The whole Southgate system doesn't work to its full potential because Kane isn't performing the role that we say Haaland does for City.
If this is the first episode you're listening to or watching of GRC Football TV, he also doesn't like Southgate. So just in case
I'm
you're
wearing
wondering,
waistcoats all
And
the
we
way
haven't
through the
even
World
got on
Cup.
to Lampard yet.
Lampard, no chance. Well, you guys.
Next England manager, hopefully.
Mr. Hinder's made a good point in terms of Tottenham's not far from the top of the league, so he doesn't understand why people are getting excited or saying that they're grinding results. Dunk doesn't believe Kane will score as much as Haaland, but he will definitely score more for City. And Mr. Hinder has a soft spot for the England captain and doesn't understand why everybody else is attacking him for his penalty scoring and, talking about Bamford already.
He's only got 2 penalties this season. That's not bad.
2 penalties out of 9. Not bad at all.
That's nearly 25% of his goals, Neil. That's over 20%.
He's still got to score him, right? And that's hard to score from 12 yards, isn't it?
I mean,
Bamford?
good shot on the 25% because Mr. Hinder likes his stats to back him up, so you might as well. Well, sticking to England, and it looks like a voodoo or a curse has gone out against all the other right backs. Trent, I thought was injured, but came back on as a sub, so it looks like he's recovering. But Kyle Walker is out and is recovering from an operation. Reece James Is going to be out for 8 weeks, so he's not going to make it in time for the World Cup. So in terms of the quality of right backs, obviously, who you going to call, Mr. Trippier?
Milner. He plays like he did today. Why the hell not?
Well, that is a good shout. Good shout. If he continues to play, I wonder if Southgate will actually call him up, bring him back. Hasn't Milner retired from England though?
Yeah, but it's the World Cup, and it's going to be warm. Where would I rather spend the Christmas? Qatar or cold up north in the UK? Wow.
Well, so we have Trippier as I'm looking. Well, Trent might be back now, but Trippier obviously is going to be number one. Who are going to be the backup or the deputy or the sub right backs for England?
I don't know why Ben White's got to be in with a shout because he's been playing well for Arsenal and he's playing right back. And whatever's happened in training and actually his games, he's obviously proven that he can play as a right back as well. And he's quite defensive, like a young Milner, maybe you might say.
So here we go again when we talk about systems, and of course, Dunk always talks about Southgate's system or lack of system. And with the way Ben White plays at right back, is it just because it suits Arsenal's system? Do you think it will suit England, Dunk?
Oh, there's no telling with Southgate what the criteria for his system. Like Trent doesn't fit it. some other players
Trent
do.
Wouldn't get mine either at the moment.
But I'd agree with Neil. Like if we got injuries at right back, yeah, Ben White's got to be in for a great shout because he can play there and cover centre back as well.
So we are in agreement that Trippier is number
They're
one.
also top of the league as well. So you've got to have, but Ben White has to be in with a shout regardless. If you look at form and everything else, Arsenal are top of the league. So they're doing something right. They might not be fantastic, but they are.
Players that suit his system, not just players that are on form.
No, he said of players on form. Caveat that suit his system. Caveat that he likes. And caveat that he's seen play.
Caveat he lied.
I think he's just got balls and pulls them out. You've got who's the other right back? You've got
let's pick four right backs for England. So we have Trippier, we have Ben White. Who are the other two that should go? Ideally, since the rest are injured. So let's throw in Trent because he played today. He played today. It looks like he's coming back. So you have three. Who else? Let's pick two more.
My God, now we've all got to rack our brains thinking who the English right backs are.
What if you think Trippier won't go because he's?
No, I said Trippier's number one.
Oh, okay. Well, Ben White's number one. Kyle Walker will be on that plane.
No, for Southgate, Trippier's number one.
We haven't seen yet. Told you, he's
we know.
Making changes,
we don't need to
man.
see. This is how Southgate operates. We know before the tournament.
So Kyle Walker is recovering, so he might not be fit enough. Reece James is definitely not going to be fit enough. So we have Trippier, we have Ben White, we have Trent because he played today. Who else is out there? I know there's an abundance of left backs, loads of left backs that you can pick from. But right backs, and with this new system of everybody playing, and okay, for the fun of it, let's throw in Milner. He might just come back to the England squad. But who else?
You got Walker Peters from Southampton, is it? And then you've got the right back at Leicester as well. James Justin, I think.
Fofana is injured as well, right?
Left back.
But I think he can play both, evidently. But I think we're looking at players that potentially won't be playing at all. It's going to be Ben White. Buy your shirts now. It's going to be Ben White on the back. He'll be playing right back. Everyone else is injured. I don't know what Ben White's got. He's got the voodoo dolls.
Yeah,
he's the one.
It's the Ivan Toney situation all over again. Who cares? Southgate's not going to play them. like we know what's going to happen. He's got his men, and he's not going to. He'll put them in the squad. He's not going to play them.
You can't drop Kane for Ivan Toney when Kane's still scoring goals.
Why? I never said. I'm not suggesting what he should do. I'm just saying everyone's like, oh, should Ivan Toney be in the squad? Great, take him. Who cares? He's only going to get 10 minutes against frickin' Iran at the end, isn't he? So it doesn't matter.
And of course, there's Tammy Abraham as well.
It's not as good this season as he was last season, but Tony's still playing very, very well.
Yep, 2 goals this weekend.
Good goals as well.
Looking sharp, very good goals. Good penalty as well. Penalty that people attack Kane for. But
it was a nice penalty there.
Very nice. He has 29 and 29. He hasn't missed any. So the man is looking sharp. So
yeah, he's missed one. He's missed one for Peterborough.
Uh, but he hasn't missed one for Brentford. You're one of those people that you just don't like success, Dunk. You just don't like success.
And look, we
Progress.
need to be providing people with the facts here, JJ. You can't just be making shit up.
I just said he has those. I said he has 29 and 29. I did not say anything about Peterborough facts and all that. Besides, I just ask questions. Well, it looks like Ben White has gotten the nod from both of you, even if Dunk doesn't think he will play. Trippier should be, from history and from what we know about Southgate, should be number one on that list. Hopefully, he doesn't get injured. We
Could Joe
wish,
Gomez play right back?
yeah, he has done before.
He
Yeah.
has done before, hasn't he? I don't know whether you've then got cover options, which potentially are a good thing or a bad thing. Whether you take centre backs to play as right backs, and then you've kind of got this. We haven't really got a proper centre back, and then we know the right back's going to come in. He does need his starting 11, regardless, and then he
Well,
needs players to fit in around them.
now that you say that, a lot of managers most of the time gamble by putting right-footed players as left backs. You don't usually see it the other way around, do you? I'm trying to think of any where you see. So like Tomiyasu has played left. You have other players that are right-footed actually play left back. I mean,
Cancelo as
Xhaka,
well, yeah.
Cancelo and stuff, but you don't see it the other way around.
Why are we not talking
Strange.
about Wan-Bissaka as well?
Where is he? He's another one. He's like Graham Souness. Where's he? Where's he gone? He's
I've
not
seen
even
him in
making the
FIFA a
team.
lot.
Mm, He's not even making the team. At some point, he was hailed as one of the best things, and then everybody started talking about Trent and how everybody should move forward. And then, boom, he was on the bench. And Dalo seems to be playing better.
Good player.
Well, we shall see, Ben White. We'll see if you make it as England's number one, if Trippier gets injured, or we'll see if Trent actually gets the nod. We shall see. Moving on to the games, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, if we're looking at the games, we are going to start with Leeds Arsenal. Let's go, Dunk.
So do you want the positives first?
No. Start
Just
with however you want to
start with the game. Okay, I'll start however on. It's just another loss for Leeds. So they were positive for Leeds, but it's just another loss. They're not in good form at the minute. I said last week they seem to be drawing home games and losing away. This is a home defeat. In terms of the match, like it was a good match. Leeds actually seem to do the opposite of what I was saying about last week, where they normally start fast and then fade out the second half. They actually came on stronger in the second half, so there's a positive for us. Like every opportunity to get in that game and potentially win it as well. So yeah, Bamford taking the penalty. Like no excuses for missing the target. Like that's poor. But at least Bamford did look like pretty decent today, so maybe he's getting some form back, and hopefully we'll see him.
He looked sharp. He looked like his former self, and he looked like he wanted to fight everybody, which is quite not like him, but he looked all right.
Yeah, I mean, he looks a lot better than he has done, again, coming back from injury, so there was that. Yeah, so it was a good game. Like, Arsenal, I'd say, will be pleased with that result, considering everything that went on in the game.
Does that show that, once again, title contenders not playing really well and getting lucky? Because, I mean, back 2 seasons ago or some seasons back, definitely they would have crumbled in that game. But it's looking like they're, at least mentally, they're getting stronger. Bamford should have scored the penalty. So, yeah, are these the signs of a title winning team?
Yeah, like I said, they'll be happy with that. Like an away game at Leeds isn't an easy one to win. It's not a given. So if they can get away with that and come out with 3 points, they'll be delighted and keep the challenge up. So fair play.
Oh, good. For the moment, of course, that Mr. Hinder has been waiting for, Manchester United v Newcastle.
Yeah, and then that was a. I don't know what was going on. I don't know if VAR was working. I just have no idea at all. How was Callum Wilson not given a penalty?
That was ridiculous.
That wasn't a penalty.
That was
Look at the movie.
Varane body checked him and put his leg across.
It wasn't a penalty at all.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah. This is hang on a minute. Take the rose tinted glasses off. That was a penalty. I watched that and I was like, did they just not give that? Did they not even go back to it? No.
Did Man United have penalties that should have been given to?
No, Longstaff's foot was well out on that situation. Right. It wasn't in long enough to give a penalty.
I think both of them were penalties, to be honest, in that
probably
game.
Would agree. And I think that's why the penalty wasn't given. at the end
Because
of that.
they were both penalties. That's why they were not given.
Ronaldo petulantly scoring a goal. That was funny.
You know, you're supposed to like analyze this game.
That
right?
was petulance by Ronaldo. Joe Linton, what a header! How you header the ball onto the post twice is possibly one of the most staggering events I've seen it in football. I think that's a game maybe Newcastle will feel that they should have won. After that, looking at the whole game as a whole, United weren't at the races. I don't think they have been. I still don't think they've turned that corner. If they turned a corner, the corner's bigger than they thought it was going to be, and they're still taking their time. It's like a double apex or something.
They had some big chances at the end, though, particularly that Rashford header.
You missed. That's what I'm saying. They're like they haven't got there. Rashford had a really good September, right? And then October, wow. I don't know what's happened to him. He's fallen off. Sancho looks like he's becoming a bit better, a bit more adjusted to the Premier League, but again, still not up to his tag. There's still not that cohesiveness at United that they had initially, right? For in September, there's definitely been a bit of a. They've had the honeymoon period, right? They've had the Gerrard honeymoon period, and now it's gone, and now they're just, I don't want to say hanging on, but yeah, they're definitely not in the title race or the Europa League race this year. They were poor. I don't think they were good enough.
I'm confused. Help me out here.
And Pope made a great save as well.
Oh yes, Pope made a great save.
Great save.
Help me out, Mr. Hinder. So
yes.
Man United is not in the European League race, but they're fifth.
Yeah, they're not in it. It's out. It's out of their hands. Trust me. It's just a matter of time.
Okay, I should trust you. And Man U has what? Apart from the City game, have won every game in September and October. But you said they're out of it.
They're out of it. Did you watch? Did you see the highlights of the game? Did you see any of the game?
I watched the game.
Yeah. So, how did they look like they were in it?
Man United didn't play the best, but they were not out of it.
Didn't play the best. Yeah, I mean,
and if anybody would have won that game, it would have been United. So
you got spanked by Man City. You beat Everton. That's a given.
You
can't. Yeah, everyone beats Everton.
All right.
You lost against Real Sociedad in the Europa League.
One month was that?
Just about beat Omnia.
1 month was that?
September.
Okay, all right. So in October, how many games have you played?
In October, you have played 1, 2, 3, 4.
How many
you
have you
got
won?
spanked by Man City 6-3. You beat Everton 2-1. And you drew against Newcastle. And I don't know who Omanua are. I don't know where they're from in the world.
Yeah, but did we win?
Yeah, I mean...
Okay. I mean, that's a terrible October right there, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm no fan of Man United, but I think most people would say they've had a pretty decent start to the season, considering the state they've been in the last couple of seasons.
100%, but I feel like it's going down. That's the problem. These are... Nah, it's definitely on a downward spiral.
Speaking about downward spiral, Man United's next 2 games is Tottenham and Chelsea. So that would be...
I told you, October is a write-off for them.
All right. Anything else for the game?
No, I think they were lucky. I think they were lucky to come out 0-0 in that game. And definitely Stonewall penalty they should have got. Longstaff, I'm not really... That was a little bit 50-50, but how Wilson didn't get that is beyond me. How can you even say that wasn't a pen?
Okay.
Can I just say I predicted 2-2, and if they'd have given both the penalties, Joe Linton scored and Rashford scored, it would have been 2-2.
Yes, thank you. Good prediction. Aston Villa, Chelsea, Potter doing things there. Mason Mount, who we have attacked every now and then. I think he's probably top 6 players we attack every now and then. Well, you guys attack. Scoring 2 goals. Mings with a terrible header in the first goal. But how did you see the game and Chelsea's play, Dunk?
Yeah, Villa had a lot of chances in the first half. Potter was experimenting a bit. He had Sterling at right wing back, which I think he tried the other week. Probably got away with that in the first half. The way they were playing, the amount of chances Villa had. If Villa were more clinical, they could have had a couple of goals there. So they'll be really ruining those chances in the first half. But then second half, Chelsea came out and they just controlled the game. Mount, couple of good goals. absolute howler from Mings for the first goal. Yeah,
The
really bad.
commentator was trying to give him an excuse, talking about the wind.
yeah, I heard that. I'm not
Oh,
sure
but-
the wind blows those balls around that much. So absolute howler. Nice composure for Mount to finish it, and a nice free kick for the second goal. So Graham Potter, that's 5 wins, is it now? I think he's again, like if he put people into a job and you think about how they're going to do, like that's probably exceeding expectations, that he's come in and he's got most of the issues that seem to be there before sorted, and they are getting goals, even though there's some chances going against them. But he's on a good run, and fair play to him. I think most of us would like to see Graham Potter do well there, get him prepared for England.
He'll probably sorry. Sorry. All right. Let's not educate. Let's not encourage that bad behavior. So Southampton, West Ham, donk.
Yeah, lots of chances. Again, I think Southampton will rue missing a couple of chances. Che Adams had a couple of like serious one-on-one breakthroughs, but Fabianski made a couple of good saves. West Ham, again, it was one of those games that it could have gone either way, so a draw was probably a fair result. West Ham kind of had quite a few chances as well. Skamaka had at least 2 or 3 chances that went very close to going in, either saved or just narrowly missing the woodwork on the outside. So yeah, on reflection, a draw was probably a fair result. Southampton seem to be there's like lots of noise around there. The manager Hassan Hüttl, whether he's going to stay around, probably a bit harsh at this stage of the season, considering like you can't expect Southampton to be smacking it up the top end of the table. They've historically been around that bottom half, and generally, like Neil said about Spurs, I think Southampton have overachieved for quite a few seasons in the Premier League. So probably a bit early for that. We'll have to see how they go over the next few weeks. West Ham seem to be picking it up from the slow start, so it's an away point for them, which they might be slightly disappointed with.
Declan Rice, first goal in a year.
Yeah, it was nice finish, good strike from outside the area. So
I mean, before the game, there is a talk that he is not going to sign a new contract, or he has said he's not going to sign an extension. So is that's probably, and if he has a good World Cup, that's probably going to open a summer of loads of interest. It'll be interesting to see how the January transfer window will go, especially after the World Cup and the Christmas games, to see if clubs are actually going for loads of players. But we shall see how that goes. Fulham v Bournemouth. I'll just let you guys decide how you want to take it. I mean, this is as good as 3 points for Dunk.
Neil probably didn't even watch it. Did you watch it, Neil?
Of course I did. What a snooze fest this was. I mean, this was a battle of the mid-table new boys, and I don't think really any of them wanted to lose on this particular occasion. Fulham dominated possession. That's fair to say, right? That. What's that player that scored that goal? That lucky, the one I said I wouldn't score 10 goals this season.
Lanky.
So lanky, and to be fair, that was a good goal.
That was a great goal.
It was great football for the goal, which I think was probably the finish wasn't great, but the football was fantastic for the whole thing. I think Fulham will probably feel slightly aggrieved they didn't come out with a win on that particular game. Mitrovic did score. Not that they were more dominant or head and shoulders above Bournemouth, but if I was one of them going home, I'd be a little bit more upset on that side of thing. And Mitrovic still scoring goals. Really, he's doing what he should be doing.
Contentious penalty.
Do you think?
Well, like the comments were like, if Lerma's like dragging him, he's not going to be like shoving down to the ground. I think the comments were like, Mitrovic is being a bit crafty there, and he's got the guy with the hands all over him, and he's the one that actually, because there's arms around him, he's dragged Lerma down onto the ground on top of him. So, Bournemouth are getting nothing on VAR. I think they're the team that have had the two decisions where the ref's gone and said, no, I'm not giving it. So,
do you think they deserve to win?
No, I think a draw was a fair result in the end. I think Fulham had the better of it in the second half. So, but I'm just massively impressed with Bournemouth since the 9-0. I don't care who they've played. Like, if you're losing 9-0 to Liverpool and everyone thinks you're going down, going into games, people think Bournemouth are going to lose. Most people would be predicting that. And unbeaten in 6, like, it's really good stuff.
Do you think, I don't know enough, I haven't watched enough of Bournemouth through last season and this season. obviously the change in manager. Has everything else changed as well? Is there a change of system there? What's happened since Parker? He wasn't doing bad, if that made sense. He did get absolutely spanked 9-0, but what's happened? Educate us that haven't had the privilege of seeing the befores and after.
Well, he's changed the lineup one of the first things they bought Neto from Barcelona.
Yep.
And so Parker wasn't playing him. So he's brought Neto in as a starter, and he's made some pretty damn good saves. So Travers was playing before. I mean, he's a decent keeper, but I think Neto's a slight step up from him. So there's an improvement there. And again, just the personnel and who he's using in the field. I don't think Billing was featuring in all the matches under Parker, and Billing's a cracking player, Danish international, in the middle of the park. So yeah, O'Neill's he is getting the best out of those players. He's getting them to perform well. And most importantly, he's getting results. And like I said before, the sacking of Parker might have been a bit harsh, but I don't think Bournemouth would be in the position they're in now with Parker in charge.
Mm-hmm. Was it probably a mindset thing, though? Do you think in terms of mindset, you know how the manager sometimes can, raise the mentality that the players feel like they're better? Do you think, and Parker definitely showed that he could do that in the championship, but do you think his battle with the board he was actually taking it down to the dressing room? Or did they respect him so much that because he was struggling with the board that it was affecting them?
With that press conference after the Liverpool game, you'd have to go on the side of your first statement you made there that he might have been bringing a bit into the dressing room. It seems to have he wasn't getting like the players to perform like we said in those matches where it was the Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool. Like they were doing nothing. They weren't really battling hard. They were just getting rolled over with no chances. So there's definitely been a shift in mentality since O'Neill took over, and he's got them battling and working harder.
But the one thing you said at the beginning of the season was, don't compare us against the more established teams, right? Obviously, the Lens, Liverpool, Man City. You said that you potentially
in terms of the fixtures,
anyway.
See how we do against the other ones.
But obviously, Scott Parker was judged against those fixtures, right? And then they come into, I don't want to say, they're easier games, right? I'm not saying there's an easy game in the Prem, but definitely playing Man City and Liverpool is going to be harder than potentially playing Fulham, which is just factual information, not nice. But then you
look at some of the games, like the Leicester and Forest. They came from behind to win. Like, I don't think that's happening under Parker. So again, there's definitely a mentality shift, and they're really fighting for it.
Oh, good. Well, Leicester played Crystal Palace 0-0 on Saturday, and Wolves beat Nottingham Forest 1-0, and Brentford beat Brighton 2-0 on Friday with Ivan Toney, as we said, scoring what goes. Don't interrupt me, Neil. Don't interrupt
I'm not.
me. Okay, but you can say what you want to say. Yeah. Wait, what did you want to say? Because I know that.
With you.
I know that finger. You sure?
Agreeing with it all.
I do have a question for you. I have a question for you, Neil. You keep saying this, and I know you've said this for like a couple of episodes. Yeah. I keep saying this. If Tony continues to score and Kane continues to score, would there actually be any reason in terms of system change that Tony could actually start before Kane for England?
No, you would. Why would you? Why would you stop him? It's like
the key thing I said was system change, because I knew that no matter.
There's no system that Tony would be better in as a forward than Kane.
Do you agree with that, Dunk?
If Kane played where he should be playing, right?
yeah. If Kane played as a striker, yeah.
You don't get me wrong. Like, Tony was fantastic on the weekend, and he is doing the business at Brentford, and he's scoring goals for Brentford. I still think he needs to play for a bigger club in order to prove himself. I'd know to everybody, not just to me, and probably to himself.
Definitely to you.
I saw his Snapchat. He isn't happy there. I feel that he needs to play. If you've got your top players, they should be playing at top clubs, right? And that's just how.
Not everybody can play for a top club, though.
Why not? If they're good enough, they should be, right? So
really?
That's either saying he's not good enough. But could Tony play for a better club? 100%, right?
Are you telling me Maddison is not good enough to play for a top club? So because he's not playing for a top club, you're saying he's not good enough?
Based on his last performance, where Southgate was watching, no, he couldn't play for a top club. The week before, he could have played for a top club because he wasn't good. Did you see the game? He wasn't good at all, and he missed and he made some poor decisions in that game. But Tony's doing it at Brentford. Could he then do it? I mean, in the City team, yeah, he probably could. But would he? But how well would he do? He isn't going to dislodge Kane, who is proven goal scorer for England. It's not like he's coming up with Kane. If you've got Tony and Abraham, that both haven't necessarily done it for England, you've got a different battle. You've got a situation where you go, right, we'll have you or we'll have you. But you have to have one guy that you're playing, and then you bring someone else on. And I know it's only going to be 10 minutes or 5 minutes in a game, but he isn't really offering much of a difference to really Kane's style of play if Kane played as the talisman that he should be playing, if that made sense. We're not playing with two up top where we're going to be playing off each other. It's just kind of just one, and that's how it is. It's just not going to happen. As much as he's doing well and he's got a fantastic goal and his penalty was beautiful, you don't dislodge Kane just for the sake of, oh, Tony's playing well. It just doesn't happen.
All right. Your question that you were going to ask, have you forgotten because of your rant about Tony?
No, I was going to talk about what's his the Notts Forest manager getting a new contract.
Cooper.
Yeah, to 2025.
Cooper, yeah. What does that say? Is that just
it
a point
says that
being
they
proved?
believe in him, and I think they're beginning to accept that. So it's two reasons for me, which I shouldn't say because I don't have an opinion. But
Come on, Splinters.
Just imagine they're Man United. Go.
But it tells me two things. One, they are happy with the fact that they might go down, and they still think he's the man that will bring them back up. Or somebody in that board is a family member, and they just want to give him another contract in case they sack him, so he can get good compensation. Those are the only reasons I can
But
think of.
did you see they fired the recruitment guy? Like, yeah, it's probably a bit late for that now. If he's signing 21 players, that kind of got approved at all levels. Like, I don't know how much say in it Cooper had, but definitely by the board, they were like, yep, yeah. Can you sanction this side? Yep. And they got in there 21 or 2 players, and then they fire the recruitment guy. Like, that's mad.
I mean, quite rightly so, though. I mean, they had absolute faith, and they're like, maybe they weren't good, but we've got faith in this guy because he said he can get these good players in, and we've.
Well, he did. He got the players, used them. Why are you sacking him for?
Well, yeah, because maybe that's not Cooper's signings then. Maybe some of them were and some of them weren't. And then you go, actually, but you got to have faith in your own system, regardless of what it is. Yeah. You have the recruitment guy who gets the players in, they'll have meetings and they'll go, right, this is the targets, this is who we should get. And then they go out and get the players. And then the manager's like, perfect, we've got 21 new players. Perfect. How am I going to get them all in? I don't know. But that's the board having faith in their actual system, which is perfect. And then they see the players and they go, actually, we know that the manager's a good manager and he gets the best out of people, but maybe our recruitment hasn't been as good as it should have been. And that's then saying to us that we know it's not Cooper's men and it's not all on Cooper, which is probably a good thing from his point of view because he hasn't come out and complained about anything. Lingard started playing poorly.
I mean, he hasn't come out to complain because he just signed a new contract. He doesn't want to ruin the party.
Yeah,
he's happy.
He could do a Scott Parker and get 5 years worth of compensation. But yeah, it just points to like the club being run poorly. If those chain events go on, like they sign 22 players and then they sack the recruitment guy and then give Cooper a new contract, that's just not being a club well run.
Do you think Cooper should have gone as well?
I don't think he should have gone, but it's a strange move to give him it was a 5-year contract, was it?
It was a big.
He extended to 2025.
Okay, so 3 years.
Yeah.
It's a strange move. Yeah.
For second from bottom of the league, right? And going, yeah.
Well, time will tell. Who knows? He might turn things around.
How many goals do you think Ivan Toney would score in that team?
I don't know. How many do you think?
3.
Yeah, the supply is not very good.
All based on supply. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. We have discussed the Liverpool City game. We've also talked about, Dunk's harsh statements about Harry Kane, and of course, Tottenham not having any more excuses. And we have picked Ben White As number two right back compared to Trippier if Southgate plays a different system, which Dunk doesn't think he will. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Please follow us on at GRC Football TV on Instagram, TikTok, and of course, you can watch this episode fully on YouTube and see the reactions Mr. Hinder gives when he's happy about Man United drawing or not having a good October, even if, we've lost just one game. All right, boys, thank you very much. Until next time, it's goodbye from Big Dunk
See you next week.
and goodbye from Mr. Hinder.
I'll take it easy, but I don't know if you've noticed, the finger's been taken off. That's
All right. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, more times.